All right, so I'm just an idiotic, stupid dog. And the title of this take is Dave is in the title. The working title was Dave Atell script, but the title became Dave Atell is the Grand Poobah. Just check this out. All right, so the producer said Story Wars is getting capped. They can't get over the hump of 75,000. Episode 6 shows the ceiling is set. The producer thinks the reason it's capped is because they won't allow the guests to fight over the books behind them. The producer's convinced that these books hold some special meaning for both the hosts and the contestants. I'm wondering, like, what does the producer think? Like, it's like there's going to be a treasure map in one of them books, or one of them books would teach you how to build a submarine or a spaceship. I mean, what makes those books so special? I don't know what the producer's thinking. But the producer says it's a big deal, but they're capped at 75,000. And the producer claims that the explanation coming from Louis C. is that they are their books. According to Louis, those are their special books. Even though they're there displayed like props, they're not for public consumption. You know? And the producer finds that to be ridiculous. If you're going to display them, put them up there. You know what I'm saying? It's like put your money where your mouth is. You know what? If you're going to play for this, play for that. Don't be afraid. You make them props. Props doesn't matter. They have to be alluring. They have to be something that somebody wants, they would kill for. And according to the producer, you know, he's all humped up or hyped up. He wants them things, but he thinks that Louis C.K. or Louis J. whatever his name is. Anyways, the producer thinks it's ridiculous. You know. The first thing the producer points out is, can't Louis stop buying the books? Can't Louis stop accumulating books? Can't Louis stop stacking up books that just become more and more enticing, more and more alluring? And second, you'd feel more on edge, according to the producer. The whole show would work better. You'd feel more on edge if Louis was about to lose a book that he cherished, that he really cared about. But Louis is trying to game the system. Louis is trying to keep the odds with the house. He wants them to be in charge. He wants the illusion that you could win a book, but the reality is you ain't winning one of them damn books. You know, the producer's kind of perturbed about the whole thing, but he wants to make two last points. The producer's two last points are as follows. First, where the hell is Dave Smith? The producer says, where the hell is Dave Smith? Oh, yeah. Yeah, the show is much better without him. I forgot to mention that. The producer, he says, oh, yeah, where's Dave Smith? Oh, I forgot. The show's so much better without him. So that's where he's at. He's gonzo. But the producer thinks it's really crazy that that's the way Dave Smith would be treated, even though Dave Smith was one of the founding fathers. Dave Smith was one of the original, you know what I'm saying, creators. Dave thought it up. Maybe Dave was a collaborator, but he was one of the original ones that gave birth, so to speak, to Story Wars. And deep down, the producer kind of is like saying the show's better without Dave Smith, but yet alone, again, you know, Dave Smith, how could you shun him when he was one of the guys who thought it up to begin with? He's like the father of the show. Anyways, the last point, was it the second point or the last point? Maybe it's the last point. It's the second point and the last point rolled into one. The producer wants to say, Dave Atell is really great. And what's more is, not only is he really great, he is a great Story Wars warrior. He's fooled everyone. The producer was saying, can 5 guys sitting around a table really, if one of them could lie to the other 5, eventually, if they talk long enough, the guys who know each other, the 5 or 6 guys who know each other, the one guy that's trying to lie is going to get caught in a lie. And the other guys that don't catch him in a lie, they're having to throw it. They're having to carry him a couple rounds. They're trying to pretend they don't realize that this guy's the liar. They could point him out in the liar in like 35 seconds, the producer's saying. 2 or 3 of them would say, you're the fucking liar. Everybody knows it. 45 seconds in, like saying, episode 2, episode 3, episode 4. You'd be 5 minutes, you had 5 or 6 episodes. So the producer's not really buying it. But anyway, he's really saying Dave Atell, he's the one that could fool the other 4 or 5 guys, the other 5 or 6 guys. Dave Atell could keep them all guessing. He could point the finger at somebody else because he is a Story Wars warrior. He's earned the title Grand Master Story Warrior, or in other words, he's the Grand Poobah of Story Wars. Basically, this boils down to the fact that Dave Atell is the Grand Poobah of Story Wars. I'm the ex-stupid dog. Don't worry about it. It's all right.